In Balanced View, we call everything data. It makes it very simple. So thoughts, emotions, people, places, things, memories, traumas, it's just data. And in open intelligence, which is essentially what's looking, what's experiencing, data arise continuously. And the relationship between data and open intelligence, and reification is a data stream too. The relationship between these two things is that they are inseparable, like the sky and the colour blue, or they're inseparable like reflections in a mirror. So if I was to hold up a hand mirror and then put it over these nice lovely flowers here, and then move it to the bag of spanners here, and then move it back, and then move it here, the mirror isn't recoiling when it's reflecting my face, and it isn't, really delighted to have lovely flowers reflected in it. It reflects everything completely impartially. And the reflections, they are the mirror. They're inseparable from the mirror. And I really like this analogy, and it's my favourite from the training, because even in the very beginning, when I had absolutely no idea what the trainers were talking about, what are they talking about? You hold the universe in a usable way? It's like, what? No, I don't. I'm English. I've got three things that I hold in a usable way, and that's sarcasm, misery, and total boredom. So these are my tools. I don't hold the intelligence of the universe. What are they talking about? So it's very important to recognise that what we're talking about in this training is to empower you all as individuals to test the simple instructions of the training. That's it. You don't have to understand a single thing of what's being talked about here, but you do have to be open enough just to test the simple suggestions, and then you'll see in your own experience what we're talking about. So the first instruction, really the only instruction, is to recognise short moments of open intelligence, repeated many times, and they become continuous. And so, like we heard, and we heard in the video, to identify what we call open intelligence in your own experience, you just stop thinking. So you can do that right now. And just for the briefest moment, what do you notice in your experience when you do that? And of course, then all of the thoughts come crashing back, or the sensations. So then just do it again. So there's an undeniable something there when you do that. What's looking through your eyes? What's listening to me speak? This is what we call open intelligence. And so the practice of Balanced View, the one instruction, is to do that, is to take a short moment whenever you remember throughout your day. And what you'll find is something totally amazing, is that it's your own thoughts, emotions and sensations that remind you to take that short moment. So right there, you don't have to change anything. It doesn't mean that you won't want things to change. I want everything to change in my life. Everything. But guess what? It's not going to change. And no matter how hard you effort to change things to achieve well-being, even if you are expert at doing so, you will never arrive at a point in your life where you feel completely satisfied and okay. And we see this, the evidence of this is very clear. Philip Seymour Hoffman and Robin Williams, both beautiful beings, very successful beings. Clearly they weren't experiencing well-being, even though they had conventionally very successful lives. And so you see, we as human beings, we're so loving and we're such beautiful creatures. We only want the best for ourselves, and we want the best for the people we love. And the most people, I can only share my own experience actually. When I came to this training, I could probably count the people that I really loved on maybe two hands, and that I really cared for. I couldn't care less about anyone else. And so this was based on my own experience of life. I want the best for myself. I want to feel okay. When I was a teenager, I thought, well, when I was a child, I thought life when I'm an adult is just going to be so wonderful. It's just going to be like some sort of heaven realm. And then as I got to my late teens and early 20s and late, I'm nearly 50, by the way. And apologies to people that I said this yesterday. There are people that are older than that, but I mean, how did I get to be this old? It's just like, and totally forgot what I was saying. What was I talking about? Yes, my aspiration for life. It's when I was a child, it was like really amazing, and then as I got older and older, it got less and less and less until when I was in my late 30s, I just wanted to feel slightly okay some of the time. Is that too much to ask? And I couldn't even feel that, and that was awful. And so I desperately searched for well-being everywhere. Money, sex, drugs, partying, alcohol, yoga, meditation, football. And believe me, my football team isn't a source of happiness. It's the complete opposite. So, but you see, I was very desperate to find just some well-being. And so when I came to this training, after 2 decades of trying really everything, and I listened to the trainers, and I was very cynical, very sarcastic, very cynical internally, sitting at the back just going, oh, this is the same as everything else. But the difference was that I was given an instruction, and so the instruction of short moments, but I was also, it wasn't just that, because I didn't understand the instruction of short moments. And I was ready to get into an argument. It's like, how can I do something if you can't explain it to me? And Candice just said, oh, don't worry, just show up. It's just like, whoa. So I'd been used to practices of, okay, sit still for 10 hours a day and empty your mind of all thoughts for 10 days. And that was the beginner course. I can't even sit still for 5 minutes, let alone 10 hours. And so I was a total failure. So to come to a training where the instruction is to just show up, it's like, oh my God, that is my kind of training. So I just came to meetings like this. That's all I did to begin with. And what I started to recognize is exactly what is described in the training, that I am okay. It was very subtle in the beginning, but it was amazing. For the first time in my life, I recognized something directly in my experience, not an idea. It was an experience of a sort of like relaxed excitement at the basis of my experience. I couldn't put my finger on it. I couldn't say where it was located. Like right now, it's the same. This whole space is pervaded by a really intense, relaxed power. Now, that doesn't make sense, relaxed power. But so the invitation is for you to see in your own experience if this is true in your experience. And the way you do that is to just show up if you want to. Anyone can do that. And what that means essentially is coming to meetings like this, and I know that the Stockholm community here is just amazing. You have meetings all the time, events going on, and I think probably at the end there'll be an announcement about what sort of meetings there are. But we also have a fantastic website, balanceview.org, where there's thousands of hours of free media, free books, and you can download them onto your MP3 player. And so just listening to these things, turning up, and if you want to, there are trainings that you can join as well. And they're all designed for you to test in your experience if what we're saying is true or if what we're saying is a load of BS. So it's not up to me to convince you of anything. It's up to me to really implore you to test it for yourself, because I've turned from, I've got to be polite, basically somebody who was very, very miserable, very cynical, totally looked at life and the world in the most desperately negative way, to feeling so full of love and power and hope and joy, and I'm still exactly the same. Fat, English, depressed, miserable, and I have panic attacks as well. That's the cherry on the cake. So you see, I spent my entire life trying to modify and get rid of these things that I did not like about myself. And through this training, I recognize that these things, they never needed to change. They are evidence of my perfection. Now that's crazy talk. So really, again, the empowerment in this training is for you to just test these simple suggestions. I'm not asking you to experience panic attacks as blissful. You know, that's ridiculous instruction. I'm just asking you to practice short moments whenever you remember, so that might be once a day. Listen to talks from the website. Come and hang out with the community here when they have meetings and things like that. And just do that for like 2 weeks, a month. I guarantee you, you'll be amazed at the difference that occurs in your experience.